turn now to election season. Focusing on Seattle's City Council District 8 race, it's an at-large position representing the entire city. Incumbent Alexis Mercedes Rink versus Rachael Savage. And you heard from Rink back on SNT yesterday. Today, it's Savage's turn. Fox 13's Hannah Kim sat down with Savage, who emphasized her focus is public safety. Here's a portion of their conversation.
You're running for a citywide position, and I want to just know, what is that driving force? Was there a moment where you said, you know what, I need to run, and why was that?
Yes, well, I have a business on Capitol Hill, and I live on Capitol Hill, and the crime and disorder has gotten so bad. I have a street-level retail business. So the lawlessness of the city, the fentanyl epidemic, the severe mental illness came right to my doorstep, and I saw the city change and become more and more dangerous and unruly. So I thought, time for me to step in. I have good ideas on how to change our approach to drug addiction, mental illness, and I think that the city, people in the city, the voters of Seattle, want to vote for a real person and have them be represented on the city council.
It sounds like you're saying number one issue is public safety and homelessness are kind of all boiled into one. So what are those ideas that you're saying that you have? What kind of new measures would you put in place to solve this?
Well, we need long-term residential treatment for the severely mentally ill and the severely drug addicted, and to rebuild our law enforcement. So right now we don't have long-term treatment. The treatment that a late-stage drug addict, such as a fentanyl or methamphetamine addict, needs to actually stop using drugs, learn how to live without drugs, and build a life worth living to re-enter society. And the severely mentally ill, I mean, we've seen the violence, the murder of a bus driver, the violence on our train platforms and on our train cars. It has to stop. And the severely mentally ill, of course, it's not their fault. They're not getting the treatment that they need away from the city. And we see this every single day. I mean, I see people in such bad shape in the city of Seattle, living on the animal level, dirty, raving. It's just a matter of time before the violence gets worse than it already is.
There are treatment options out there. How would your long-term treatment be any different from what's out there right now?
Well, I believe we need a long-term treatment for fentanyl addicts for sure. It is the strongest drug we've ever seen, highly addictive. And I have 35 years of abstinence myself. I'm a recovered addict myself. And so I've spent those 35 years not only drug-free, but teaching people, teaching addicts in all stages of addiction how to stop using drugs, how to deal with those issues that make them want to escape reality, and the compulsion and the craving, the mind of an addict, I understand very well, and then to teach them how to live without drugs and build a life worth living. And they need a long time to be able to do that. So my vision for a temporary treatment center first for the city of Seattle, and then long-term residential treatment for both mental illness and severe addiction will give them the time for the treatment to actually work.
All of that takes a lot of money, and of course, as you know, Seattle and also King County spent billions on this issue. So how would you generate that kind of funding?
Well, as you said, we already have a lot of money going to this project, and it's not working. So the failed experiment of Housing First, housing people, permanent supportive housing, where there's no requirement for accepting treatment, there's no requirement to be abstinent, this is destroying our city neighborhoods. And you can see this in Capitol Hill, Belltown, the Chinatown International District. And we need a different approach. So if we take the money we've been spending, there's a lot of money there. Second thing, and a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this, the Trump administration, President Trump, just gave us an executive order about a month ago on crime and disorder. And if the city of Seattle changes the way that they treat addiction and mental illness in our city, the federal government will give us money to build these temporary and then long-term residential treatment centers that we need. So the money's there. We need someone on the Seattle City Council, me, to represent and work with the federal government so we don't have to block funding.
Would that that not be controversial for a lot of people in Seattle who may look at that and say, hey, that is not the philosophy for us here in Seattle? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's controversial to have a lack of law enforcement in our city where citizens are put in danger every single day in our public spaces, in our grocery stores, on our sidewalks, on the bus stops, on our public transportation, the buses and trains. I think it's controversial to not support business and free enterprise in our city.
One of the things, too, that the Seattle City Council pushed, and specifically your opponent championed, was the fact that they really wanted to overhaul the business tax. So they wanted to tax bigger businesses more and then give a break to small businesses. You might have an interesting take on it because you are a small business owner in the city, and this is your opponent who came up with this idea. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that if our citizens, especially business owners, aren't getting their basic needs met, which is public safety, clean sidewalks, safe transportation to get back and forth from work for themselves and their employees, that any tax burden is not okay. We shouldn't be raising taxes. We should be spending money in a smart way, looking at our policies and see what's working and what's not. And the other problem I have with it is I don't think that we should pit big business against small business. So the small business will be getting a small tax break, but the increase in taxes on big businesses is big. And big businesses have the choice whether they want to stay or leave. And a lot of them may leave our state.
So you're not a fan of that policy?
No.
If you were there, you wouldn't have gone that road?
No way.
All right, that's just a snippet there. You can watch Hannah's extended interviews with both Savage and Alexis Mercedes Rink on fox13seattle.com and on the Fox local app under the politics section. Tomorrow, you'll get a chance to hear from King County executive candidates Claudia Balducci and Jermai Zahalai. They are both on the King County Council right now, and Fox 13's John Hopperstad, he will be moderating the debate alongside journalist Angela Poe Russell. That's tomorrow at 7 p.m. right here on Fox 13.